Hey guys, it's Tanner here with another video log from Fresh Start. And I had some decent, we'll call them reviews about the last video, so I decided why not do another one of these and let you guys into my world a little bit, alright? So today we're going to talk about morning routines, the 5-second rule, and stress. So what do I mean by morning routines and how are these all related? Why did I just choose to do these videos? It's not random, I promise. So again, I'm not your doctor. If you're very interested in what I have to say, Google it or bring it up to your doctor. I'm sure he'll be a little impressed that one of his patients is actually worried about their own health. First up, when I say morning routines, I want you guys to think about this. Is there anything that you do every single morning without fail? Do you brush your teeth every morning? Do you take a pee every morning? Do you have a glass of water? What do you do every single morning? Okay, so let's pause and let's think for a second. I'm sure you have a few things just off the top of your head, and I really doubt you paused it. That's not important, right? The important thing is do you do anything every single morning to better your health, to improve your day? Do you do anything? A glass of water. Do you wake up? Do you take your beta blocker? Do you take your statin? Do you take your ACE inhibitor? Anything that ends in pril? Do you have your little baby aspirin? Because you got to worry about that heart health. What do you guys do? Do you do anything particular? Because you should be. And I'm going to tell you a few things that you should do and maybe why. So the first thing I want to talk about is maybe doing some light stretching. Now when I say stretching, I don't mean you put on your 80s or 90s spandex, you get out there, you put on some retro music, and you get out there and you start Tae-Boing it up. If that's you, go for it. I'm not gonna try and tell you not to do that because that's awesome and I wish everybody did that. But little things. For instance, you wake up, you're in bed. What do? Do you take your knee and pull it to your chest? Probably pretty tight, right? Do you cross one leg over the other and pull your leg up and give your butt a good old stretch? Do you roll over to your stomach? Do some downward dogs or anything like that? Probably not. When you get out of bed, do you put your foot up on there and bend down just for 5 seconds? Throw your leg up here and just bend on down? Maybe open up your hips. Maybe do a third world squat or a Slav squat, which is something worth Googling, something worth checking out. A very, very beneficial move because most people can't even squat properly, right? When you wake up, I don't think you should be a snoozer, but if you're a snoozer, snooze away. I don't necessarily agree with that because I think it kind of instills in us the idea of procrastination, if you will. And that might be a little dramatic. That might seem crazy, right? But if you do one thing every single day, which is snooze your alarm, you're telling yourself every single day that the most important thing you have to do, which is wake up, otherwise you're dead, can be put off a little bit, be put off a little bit, be put off a little bit. To say that maybe doesn't creep into every single decision you make for the rest of the day and the rest of your life is crazy. And I mean, I know I'm a little crazy, but that's totally fine. That's why we're doing this. I'm talking to myself in the middle of my girlfriend's house. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So let's say this. Let's say you can't do a complete squat. If you try, when you get up, to sit in a squat every single day, I promise you, within 2 or 3 weeks, you will be able to do it. Within 2 or 3 more weeks, you'll be able to do it consistently. It won't start burning. You won't feel that pain in you. You might actually start having that lower back pain go away because whenever you do the third world squat, there's a couple things to think about, right? One principle they call is butt wink whenever you have a squat. If you ever watch someone do a squat, you'll see their butt curl under, a little pelvic tilt, a little posterior pelvic tilt, which is due to things like ankle mobility and other things. We can talk about that later. But whenever you do it incorrectly, it actually has some benefits, right? We all sit all day in this sedentary, we're all at a desk. We're all at a desk all day. If you're not at a desk, great, but you'll probably be eventually because most people just can't stand up forever and be on their feet all the time or be a coach or something that involves being active, right? That's not a lot of us. So if you're always just in this pelvic flexion, you're just always here all day, you're just over here, your pelvis is like this all day long, everything gets so tight down there. And a lot of people, they're like, my core, I got to focus on my core. I got to get my core strong, my posture's good, blah, 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 blah. It all starts from the ground up. The ground up. You got bad feet, you might have bad ankles. You have bad feet and bad ankles, your knees might suck. If your knees suck and your knees don't follow your feet, then your hips start to get out of alignment. Then you go to the chiropractor and they say, oh, one leg's longer than the other. Let me adjust you real quick. When in reality, all they're doing is lengthening out one quadratus lumborum muscle, your hips realign, and then It's ridiculous. Then you give them $45. They say, see you later. Same time next week? Sure. We didn't fix anything? Right. Hey, this is a video rant. I can say whatever I want. That's what the majority of chiropractic care is. And if you have a good chiropractor who actually tells you how to prevent anything and not just sell you incense and random aromatherapies, great. Stick with them because they're a great, great, great weapon to have in this battle of health, in this battle of rejuvenation. So now we're waking up. We're like, man, I'm going to do some freaking stretches. I don't know what I'm going to do. My personal recommendation, lower half. Your upper body is usually pretty far back here, so any stretching, it's good to just open up. We all kind of, very few of us after 40 years of age stretch our lower bodies at all. One of the most common complaints in the entire world is low back pain. I think it's like 80 or 90% of adults are going to have lower back pain at some point in their life. If you have it for more than 8 weeks, chances are it's not going to go away. Anyone ever tell you that? And the best way to make lower back pain go away is by doing something about it. Why do you think whenever you have back pain, chronic back pain, they throw painkillers at you like crazy? Addiction with opiates is one of the most severe disorders that we can possibly have to deal with because it's so hard to treat, but we throw them at you because we know that your back pain, the biggest indicator that it will ever go away is if you move. And if you don't move, chances are it's going to stay there. And after that 6 to 8 week mark, maybe add a few on there. I'm not quite sure what the standard deviation is. It'll stay with you. So, what am I trying to tell you to do? Why am I ranting about all this crap that no one cares about, but hopefully you care about because I care about it? Stretch a little bit. And I don't mean like, you don't have to do form running. You don't got to lay out a ladder out there and go crazy. Stretch. Bend down. Touch your toes. That's not the best hamstring stretch, but I don't care. All I'm trying to tell you to do is move. Get to know your body. Get to know your hips. What side's tight? Are you a right-sided sleeper or a left-sided sleeper? Probably if you're a right-sided sleeper, you're like this, right? Maybe your lat's a little tight. You're rolled over this way. Whenever you're over on this side, maybe this QL's loose, this QL's tight. That's why your hips are shifted and you go to the chiropractor and you got to get it fixed. But the important thing is, you have so much control over your body and your morning routine can dictate how much control over your body you have, how you can tell where your body is in space and time, and you get to develop almost a relationship with yourself that you've neglected for so long that you have all these ailments that you have no idea how to fix. And that's why we're here, because we're going to fix every single one of them. And I might not tell you how to fix every last one of them, but I'm going to tell you how to fix something. And once you fix something in your body, it plants a seed in your brain. When I plant that seed in your brain that you actually physically fixed something in your body, then you have this belief that you can fix everything. Because our bodies have been around for a long time. Really? That's what we're going to do? It's about to rain. Hope it rains on you. I'm sorry about that. I don't mean that. Anyway, let's continue. Okay? So, I have a little bit of a morning routine I want you to try. I want you to try stretching. Some type of stretching. I'll tell you stretches to do if you want them, but just something in your brain. Whatever you like the most, do it. Try it. 20 seconds a day. You try it 20 seconds a day for 365 days a year, you're stretching quite a bit compared to what you were doing before, right? And the next thing I want to talk about, the 5-second rule in stress. Let's talk about the 5-second rule. Somebody named Mel Robbins, I know it's a unisex name, but I believe it's Melanie. She goes by Mel. Anyway, did I say we're going to practice stress today? Maybe self-control. I could talk about that. Mel Robbins. Mel Robbins, great girl, great gal. I'm guessing it's Melanie. If it's not, I apologize. She came up with this rule, 5-second rule. And I'm not talking about dropping something on the ground and then, oh, it's safe to eat. I'm talking about a decision-making rule. Whenever you think of something that you have to do that goes contrary to what your body wants to do, which is nothing, count back from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or 5, 4, 3, 2, however you want to do it. Basically, what she discovered, and what some of the research she discovered, which I'll probably just link something, but her name's Mel Robbins. If you look it up, it's there. Essentially, after 5 seconds, your body starts to self-doubt. Whatever you want to do that requires effort, if something that you need to do, maybe that morning routine, you have 5 seconds to start doing it. Because after 5 seconds, your body starts to fight it. Your subconscious basically says, hey, we don't have to do that. You start to use all these immature defense mechanisms and rationalizations that maybe that's not necessarily what you need to do. So here's what I want you to try. For the next couple days with this morning routine, I want you to keep in your mind the 5-second rule. And I want you to say, all right, I got 5 seconds to do this. If I don't do this within 5 seconds, I'm never going to do it. What I want you to think about is, if you don't do it, did you wait more than 5 seconds to not do it? Did you try to do it within those 5 seconds and see if you kept finishing? Because I promise you, it translates to way more than just this stupid morning routine I'm talking about. And I say stupid because that's probably what you think, but eventually you'll realize it's freaking amazing. I'm not a morning person. I hate mornings. But I'm a really high energy person with ADHD, and I realize that mornings are like my time to shine. Everybody freaking hates them. So I incorporated the 5-second rule and a morning routine and these stress reduction tactics. And I'm a pretty chipper young man in the morning compared to everybody else. My girlfriend's like, well, I don't want to wake up. I don't want to wake up. And I'm over here just like footloose sliding around and stuff. But that's just, it's whatever. Some of us are like that. But I promise you can be too. So essentially, this is what I want you to do. The next time you are presented with a decision that would require you to do something that otherwise you want to procrastinate, go to the gym, stretch, have a glass of water. I want you to say, hey, I got 5 seconds to do this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom, try it. I bet you do it. I bet you do it. And I bet if you don't do it, you waited longer than 5 seconds to start it. And it's a really weird thing. And I remember reading this years ago. I'm like, this is so dumb. This is so dumb. And then I started practicing it. Who knows? Like maybe she's completely wrong and it's some multifactorial issue that has nothing to do with the subconscious, but it works. And I promise you, if you try it, you will like it. So now here's the next thing that I want to talk about. This woman's name is Kelly McGonigal. And there was this TED Talk, TEDx, something along those lines. If you Google it, you'll find it. Where she wanted to talk about stress. She talks about all these deaths related to stress. And that people that experience significant amounts of stress have a 43% increased chance of dying. Not from just something random like an anvil falling from the sky and killing you, but something related to that stress. Now, I don't want to really go into how she if you want to give her, the views or whatever, do that, do it. I encourage anybody that I mention in this channel for you to check out and evaluate everything that they had to say. However, in 8 years of this study, which I'm guessing was some type of cohort study, 180,000 people died. But they didn't die from not from the stress itself. But what they discovered was it was the belief that the stress that they are experiencing was negative. So their perception of the stress was actually what made it affect their body. And she goes into cardiovascular risk factors, all kinds of things of that nature. But essentially, it would have made it number 15 on the top list of deaths or things that kill people in the United States. So essentially, this is the take-home point. Our perception, or what we think about stress, can change how our body deals with it. And she mentions questioning people and people that had a lot of stress but viewed it as a positive thing versus people who had a lot of stress and viewed it as a negative thing. The people that viewed it as a positive thing did not have the health, we'll say, effects of those that viewed it as a negative risk factor, and things of like blood pressure and all the common killers that you experience every day. So how are these three things related, and why am I doing this rant in the first place? So the reason I'm doing this rant in the first place is whenever you wake up, you have 5 seconds to make a decision about doing something different that day. You have 5 seconds to embark on a routine that might seem stupid. No one's going to know you did it unless you're like a vegan and just want to tell everybody, hey, I'm a vegan. It's for you. It's for you. You have 5 seconds to make that decision that you're going to do that. 5 seconds to say, hey, I'm going to the gym and start getting ready for it. 5 seconds to say, hey, I'm going to have a glass of water instead of some pop. If I'm going to have some pop, it's going to be diet pop. If I'm going to have sweet tea, it's going to be sweet and low. 5 seconds is all you have. And if you don't make that decision within 5 seconds, I promise you, way more times than not, you are going to do something different, something easier and something less beneficial to yourself. So that 5-second rule applies to the morning routine. And now why does this all apply to stress? Because stress is one of the most untalked about things in the world. It wasn't like, 5-10 years ago, people actually started agreeing that stress is important? The greatest cause of hypertension these days, it's something nobody knows about. It's called idiopathic. Primary hypertension, if you will. No one knows what causes it. However, if you reduce stress in these people, which is different for everyone, right? It's different for everyone. Me personally, I don't know, 5, 6 people that I help, all people I've known in my life, coaches, friends, alum, whatever. All have reduced their blood pressure by reducing stress. For some of them, it was a walk. For some of them, it was reading. For some of them, it was praying, which prayer, meditation, reading, music, whatever. Essentially, I view it as roughly the same thing, right? You're taking yourself out of right now and putting yourself in a state that is relaxing and calm. And when I talk about stress, reference the hormones that I brought up in the last video. You know what I mean? Those play a significant role, and they're really hard to quantify and measure because, like what, you're going to do a 24-hour urine cortisol study? Yeah, lots of people want to put their urine in a jar and then have it measured. You don't just walk around with your urine jar all day. Like, no. Nobody wants to do that. It's obnoxious. And I think rather than having to say, well, I'm waiting for a study on it, let's just try it. Let's try it. Let's try to do something for 5 minutes a day, maybe 1 minute a day. Try to do something for yourself for 1 to 5 minutes a day that relaxes you. Is it reading? Is it writing? Is it drawing? Is it painting? Is it praying? Is it just meditating? Is it just practicing breathing exercises? Breathing exercises are so important. It's a huge, huge, huge side of Eastern medicine. But we don't really talk about that. You know, yoga mentions it, belly breathing, like whatever. People laugh at it. You know who's not laughing at it? The people who do it. The people who do it and have lower blood pressure, longer lives, less cardiovascular risk, less strokes, less diabetes, less everything. And you can call me crazy. You can call this a stupid rant for what you want. But if you're listening this far, chances are you've tried a lot of things and they haven't worked. So the takeaways from this video. First off, I want you to realize that you have roughly 5 seconds to make a productive decision. And I'm not talking about, a loan or buying a house or splurging or midlife crisis. I'm talking about something that's going to benefit you. Drinking more water, stretching, going to the gym, anything like that. Having one less bite of a donut, maybe having more protein. Saying I'm not going to count my macros today. I'm just going to try and eat meat whenever I can. I'm going to eat meat whenever I can. Veggies whenever I can. Less fruit, less candy, less sugar. You got 5 seconds, okay? And we all have shitty days. Pardon me for using a curse word. We all have bad days, okay? But you need to take control over your mind and say, my perception of this day matters. It's in every single religious text ever. The Bible talks a lot about stress. For who has added a day onto their life by worrying about tomorrow? That's a big, long paraphrase. I probably butchered that. Sorry, pastors. All I'm saying is, worrying about things that are out of your control is stupid because it's only going to add stress. And whenever you add stress into your life that is continuously full of stress, combined with oh my gosh. Can I just say that having ADHD with all these distractions makes a train of thought almost impossible. I have literally no idea what I was just talking about. Okay. I guess what I was really on, honestly, the most important thing is that the way that you perceive all of this stress that you have throughout the day. I have stress. I'm a medical student. I have so much debt. Everyone's always like, when are you going to do residency? When are you going to finish applications? When are you going to do this? Can you tell me about this supplement? I just heard that. My brothers, my sisters, they're all asking me about their kids, all these questions of things that I'm not really entirely sure about, but I'm going to look it up. Comparing that with what their doctor said, and then it's like, oh, this is what his certifications, this is what your certifications are. You have all these things you have to worry about every single day, and at the end of the day, you need a roof over your head, you need food, you need to care about your health so that maybe one day, you're an old man who's living large and you're not walking around with your O2 tank. That's a digression. However, I blame the phone call that just took place. All I'm saying is, you have 5 seconds to make an important decision. You have 5 seconds. Try counting backwards from 5 or just realizing that you have it. Realizing that a morning routine is one of the best ways to establish positive habits to start your day. No matter if it's a day off, or if it's a work day, or a vacation day, start developing things to do in the morning. Let's say drinking water, stretching, maybe taking your medication or a multivitamin. Maybe it's just going for a walk or reading a book, something. Let's try to do something, and let's try to do it every day. And if we can't do it every day, let's try to do it every other day. Get somebody to help you with this, right? That's what this is all about, right? Trying to find somebody to help you do this. It might be yourself, it might be a spouse, a friend, a parent, a child, something, right? We're reaching. We're all looking for things to help us get healthier. And it's okay to say you need help. It is okay. It is completely okay to say that you feel helpless, because being defensive like that, it opens yourself up. It makes you vulnerable, and that's how people change. They always say you got to let someone hit rock bottom. You can't change someone's mind. You can't make them do something they don't want to do. It's very true. So opening yourself up and admitting that you're vulnerable is one of the best ways to fuel change. And I realize this was a super long rant, and if you have any questions about this, feel free to email me at freshstart.ask@gmail.com or leave me a comment in the description. I hope you guys have a great day. This was Tanner Fresh Hour with Fresh Start. See you guys next time.